What is up, Dallas Cowboys Nation? It's IndyCarTim here with another Dallas Cowboys Daily Blitz podcast right here live, 7 a.m. on a Wednesday. I cannot wait to move this thing next week to 9 a.m. I'm not going to lie. It's been a long time. Looking forward to 9 a.m. Maybe mix in a lot more content, a lot more of you guys. And my morning's just not so slammed to get in like 4 shows before noon. That's ridiculous. I don't have time to talk about anything, but we have time today, boys and girls, to talk about a rookie who is making it increasingly difficult for the Dallas Cowboys coaching staff to keep him off of the field. And I am speaking, of course, of maybe the highlight of the draft before we get a real chance to take a look at Caleb Downs in game action and, Malachi Lawrence in game action. We're talking about Jaishawn Barham, the third rounder out of Michigan. He's already one of the biggest stories coming out of Cowboys training camp. He's big. He's physical. He can rush the passer. He can play linebacker. And maybe most importantly, when he puts the pads on, this dude's got an attitude, man. A real attitude. And his versatility might be the biggest part of his game. And that's clearly why the Cowboys drafted him. That's why Christian Parker fell in love with him. Unfortunately, he did suffer an injury early on that forced him to miss a couple of days. And so that has naturally slowed down his progression through training camp. But, I consider his train fully back on the tracks. He returned to action against the Cardinals, and in his first preseason game, he gave Dallas kind of a glimpse of exactly why the coaching staff has been so excited about him. A tackle for loss, multiple pressures, physical play at linebacker. And maybe the most interesting part of his development is his potential to wear the green dot. What? We've talked about that earlier this offseason for sure. Who's going to wear the proverbial green dot, the literal green dot? Who's going to be the quarterback of this defense? And we've talked about how much we don't want it to be a rookie, because that's a lot to ask for a guy to come in and learn not just a new team, but a new league, your position, the defensive playbook, and now you're going to be responsible for everybody else on the defense too. Like, I wasn't even sure Caleb Downs should have that responsibility. We were talking more about maybe D. Winters, Overshown, kind of veterans, But I tell you what, Barham is making a real case that he could be the guy. And that means the Cowboys trust him enough to receive the defensive play calls and then communicate that and be responsible for the rest of the defense. And that's what he did against the Cardinals in the preseason. And for a rookie playing in his first preseason game, that's huge. It's a pretty significant vote of confidence for Christian Parker and this Cowboys coaching staff. Brian Schottenheimer certainly noticed. He said Barham performed very well and pointed specifically to the nature of his game. And he said that's really what jumps off the screen. He doesn't just make tackles. He's angry. He's an angry elf. He's an angry Cowboys linebacker. We need more of those. Mike Fisher over at Cowboys Roundtable described him as playing mean in that game. And that's exactly what Dallas needs. For years, we've complained about defenses that looked great statistically at times, but, kind of get pushed around physically, gotten manhandled, kind of bullied before. And that's not the kind of football that Barham wants to play. He's 6'2", 240. He's got legitimate size, but he's also got that versatility we talked about to line up on the edge and get after the quarterback too. And we know that kind of versatility is incredibly valuable to Christian Parker. You want him inside? He can play linebacker. You want him attacking off the edge? He can do that too. You want him running downhill and blowing up a rushing lane? That might be where he's most comfortable. And now comes the interesting question of all of this surrounding Barham. Could he win a starting job? I mean, right now, if you're Overshown, if you're Winters, you guys are there. You sit atop that linebacker conversation. But Barham is certainly making this conversation interesting. Probably way more interesting than the Cowboys thought it would be this early. And look, Brian Schottenheimer is not going to hand anybody a starting job right now here on August 26th. It's not going to happen. He said as much. He said the Cowboys haven't finalized playing time or starting lineups at most positions. But then he said something that should grab your attention. He said Barham has earned, quote, earned more opportunities, end quote. That's coach speak that you should pay attention to. A lot of it you should just ignore. That you should pay attention to because rookies don't necessarily have to win starting jobs in August. They have to force coaches to keep giving them snaps. And Barham is doing exactly that. Every time Dallas gives him another opportunity, he seems to make somebody notice. And that's how a preseason rotational player becomes part of the defensive game plan. And eventually, that's how a rookie becomes a starter. And, I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to announce Jaishawn Barham a starter on the Cowboys defense in week 1. Preseason football is preseason football. Making plays against Arizona in August is considerably different than lining up in a regular season game at MetLife Stadium with everything moving at full regular season NFL speed. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be coverage responsibilities that he still has to learn. And there are going to be moments when veteran quarterbacks can manipulate him and make him look like the rookie that he is. But you can teach assignments and you can improve techniques. You can develop instincts through experience. But what is harder to teach? Violence, aggressiveness, urgency. Barham already has those. He plays like somebody told him the offensive player personally insulted his family before the snap. And Cowboys fans, you're about to love that style of football. Because not only does Barham show that, that is the Christian Parker style of football. The final preseason game against the Saints could give us another look at Barham, although Dallas might decide that they've seen enough. Either way, though, man, he has gone from an interesting training camp story, I think, to a legitimate defensive wild card. Maybe he starts, maybe he's part of the rotation. Maybe Christian Parker uses him as a sort of a chess piece that he can move around between edge and linebacker. But after what we've seen so far, I think one thing is clear. Jaishawn Barham's going to play. I don't know if he's going to start, but he's sure hell going to play. And if he keeps playing the way he did against Arizona, the Cowboys might have that, excuse me, good Lord, morning voice. Cowboys might eventually have a much harder question. Not whether Barham deserves snaps, but whose snaps is he going to take away? What do you guys think? That's going to wrap it up for us today. I'm IndyCarTim. This is the Dallas Cowboys Daily Blitz right here on FanStream Sports. Make sure you subscribe, follow the show wherever you get your podcast. Keep it locked right here for Cowboys news, analysis, and pretty much everything throughout the season. It's almost here. Week 1 is almost here. College football is here. It's here this weekend. I can't believe it. It's my favorite time of the year. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Sorry about that. Just don't know what I was thinking. We'll do it all again tomorrow, boys and girls, right here on the Blitz. Until then, I'm IndyCarTim, and we'll see you.